If I have a work visa in the United States, do I have to live in the US? I get asked this question constantly, and the answer surprises most people. So, your US work visa does not care where you live, there's no residency requirements. But I'm going to explain why it's nuanced. I'm an immigration lawyer, Emilia Coto, and I'm going to break down the differences between residency requirements and location requirements for US work visas. US work visas do not have residency requirements. There is no law saying that you have to live in the United States to maintain your TN visa, H-1B visa, or L-1 visa. You can absolutely live in Canada, live in Mexico, live wherever you want, and cross the border for work. Thousands of Canadians do exactly this, especially if you live in a cross-border city. They often maintain homes in Canada and it's totally legal. But this is where it gets tricky. Some work visas have location requirements of where you can actually conduct the work. For example, the H-1B. The H-1B is tied to a specific employer and specific work location. So when your employer filed your H-1B petition, they specified where you're going to be working. And it is important that if it says that you work in Detroit and you live in Windsor, that's totally fine. But if you're doing all of your work remotely, or if you want to move to another state, then that can be an issue. That's a problem because you need to file the update. And the thing that they need to file is an amended H-1B petition because your work location changed. The same applies if you want to work from a different state. TN visas are generally more flexible, and as long as you're working for your sponsoring US employer at their US location, or even if you're working a lot of the time remotely, it tends to be fine. L-1B visas are similar to H-1B, where they're tied to specific work locations. So amendments can be required when there's significant changes. What matters for a lot of those is where you physically perform your job duties, not necessarily where you sleep. So you'll file tax returns in both countries. The US and Canada have tax treaties that prevents double taxations, but you need to make sure you're doing this correctly. Living in Canada means you're a Canadian tax resident and you'll own Canadian taxes on your worldwide income, including the US salary. Your work visa, you have to check what it requires because different work visas have different requirements. If you are navigating a cross-border commute situation and are confused, let me know.